Okay, guys, we are downtown in Yatesville, Georgia. Me and Glenn has been here before, but this is Yatesville. We're gonna go in there and see this Anna Lee's Antiques, Vintage, and Gifts is open. I'm gonna see if they got any knives. Look at that, antiques. Hey, how you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Have you got any pocket knives?
No.
You don't?
We don't have a one today.
Oh.
Those things go quick.
They do. Well, I've been through here before, and I've always seen your place, and I've like, she's open today.
Yeah, we're open Saturday and Sunday always.
Do you have any the Zippos? The lighters or anything?
Let's see.
Oh, it goes all the way around here, don't it?
Oh yeah.
It's pretty been here.
Thanks.
Old matchbooks. I'll check everything out.
Keep going.
What's this little thing right here?
Just a little shelf.
I like that. I might have to.
So take a left and then just go till you can't go anymore.
Okay. Well, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Bathroom's back here. Pretty cool. Man, I wish they had some pocket knives. Some books. It's bigger than you think it is in here. Oh, nice books. Man, look here. Just keeps going. Look at pool balls. That's cool. It's missing 8-ball. 8-ball is pretty popular. As pretty as it can be, ain't it? Look at there, 911. Well, how about that? I gotta get that. Look at that, somebody painted that. We can hang that up somewhere. Old license plate. Look here. Disabled veteran. Oh, I gotta get that. Check that out. Disabled veteran, Alaska. It'll go up on my ceiling in there. Ain't that cool? $15. Look at that. You gotta get that. Man, I don't even have an Alaska tag. Very, very cool. Oh, them old reels right there. A minnow bucket. Ain't that cool? It's $32. Love that right there. That's a cool little bucket. Oh, is there anything in there? It's a tackle box, y'all. I've never seen a tackle box like this. Look at there. It's got layers. It's a seat too. Why be dog? How much is this on this? Okay, guys. This thing is $26. Check this out. It's called a Sport Bust. And it's Fairwick wood strain. Sport. I can't read that. Bust or I don't know. 9050. It's got a little tray. It's got another little section. Oh, look at that. Is that not cool or what? I guess for bait and stuff. Or a little cooler for a drink or... No, I'll put it in backwards. Take this out. I gotta get this. Is that not cool? Find some good stuff in here, y'all. I love these little antiques. There's a mood meter. Nice little tin. An old pulley right there. A bunch of books right here. See any knife books? Nice little sign. Picture right there. Where's that at? That right there. Bear. Love this stuff, y'all. Love it.
Careful when you pick up that sunfish now. It's like it weighs about 20 pounds.
Does it?
It looks like a big one.
What you got in that big old bag, Eric?
Well, I brought some bayonets today. This is like a German World War II 98K Mauser bayonet.
Wow.
That's the standard one that they used.
My goodness.
And it's got back in World War II, the Germans didn't want anybody to know where they were building the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of putting the names on them, they put a code. Like this one's got a 43 ASW. So that was from 1943. It was made by E. Horster.
Wow.
In Solingen, probably. And then the scabbard's got the same code.
God. What's some weight on that, man?
Yeah, it's heavy duty.
Look at that wood, man. That's such pretty wood.
Okay. Yeah.
That thing is, have you felt that way?
Sir?
Feel how heavy that thing is.
Yes, sir. Me and Tony was just talking about how the Germans, they didn't play around when they made that
anything they
stuff.
made.
We like to have been talking in German.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our boys took them down.
Yeah.
With the Germans and the Russians
But they
and
made
the
some
British.
fine quality.
You know what I learned in college when I was in the history. Some of them Russian outfits, the outfits meaning the infantry, they would cross arms and walk a minefield to clear a minefield. You know, they lost millions in the war. It's unreal. I couldn't imagine having to do that.
Well, early in the war, they were short on guns, so the guys in the front row didn't even have. They would have guns, but the guys in the back didn't have them. They said, "Well, you can pick one up. For these guys, half of these guys are going to get killed, so you just pick up one of their guns and keep going forward."
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore.
It is.
That's called sacrifice.
I know. They lost millions in the war.
The Soviet Union suffered 8,800,000 to 10,700,000 military deaths during World War II. These losses include deaths on the battlefield, from disease, and in captivity. Estimates of the total Soviet losses, including both military and civilian deaths, range from 24 to 26.6 million.
Of course, if they didn't do it, then their own
got
officer
shot
would
right
shoot them,
away.
and then the next guy would step up.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they didn't really have a choice.
Right,
you know.
I know.
Eric, I have a question about this, and it's just, what are the two little slots for?
I don't know.
I mean, it goes all the way
He
through
didn't say that,
perfectly.
did he?
Almost all of them have that. All the German military, 98Ks have that. The ones that we just saw in those pictures had that.
There was a reason, because it's machined precisely for a reason.
That's for the air out.
Something to do with the attachment on the, you went in back here on this side, and that was something there to lock it in place where it didn't move, jiggle around or
Yeah.
something.
Well, we already know what you do with that if it was yours. You have a leather
You leather lanyard?
Right.
Yeah, they put a piece of leather in there.
That's where they put leather in them. I don't know. But anyway, the scabbard is a 1937 scabbard, but it's got a different code, but it was also made by the same outfit.
Well, that'd be
But
dope.
you have to look the code up to see who made it, And they did that just to confuse the Allies, as to where they were being made.
So
Wow.
that's a 1937 model?
The scabbard is 1937. The blade is 43. This is a dress bayonet here.
Wow.
These are what they used, in
Combat.
in combat. But they also made some dress bayonets.
Ooh,
They had some bling on them, and I guess they, when they were behind the lines, they just put them on, and it was kind of like a badge of authority and stuff. Like when they're in occupied countries,
Yeah.
just to kind of show out. And a lot of them had either a green or a red piece of felt in there because they wasn't going to stick them on a rifle.
Yeah.
And-
That handle almost looks like the Hitler Youth knife.
I was thinking
Well, I
the
mean,
same thing.
same people.
Yeah.
Same people made them. And this one was made by Puma.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
Oh my Lord.
So that was actually a World War II one when
Yeah.
Puma was making them?
Yeah.
Wow. How long has Puma been around?
They've been around a while.
Long time.
At least-
Long time, buddy.
Probably
They
from the 20s.
18 something.
I need to
Yeah,
look
they
that
were
up.
1800s.
I need to ask Miss Barlow, don't
Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Barlow
Yeah.
probably know.
I? Yeah.
Morning, Kevin. Let's dive into the brief, polished history of Puma Cutlery Company, one of Germany's most respected blade makers. Brief history of Puma Cutlery Company, Germany. Puma was founded in 1769 in Solingen, Germany, a city known worldwide as the City of Blades. It was originally established by Johann Wilhelm Lauterjung, and the company remained in his family for generations. In the early days, Puma specialized in crafting scissors, razors, and basic utility knives. But by the mid-20th century, they had become internationally known for producing premium hunting, outdoor, and sporting knives. What made Puma special? In 1956, Puma partnered with professional hunters and experts to design knives tailored for real-world field use. Their knives were known for precision heat treating, Rockwell testing, and remarkably consistent edge retention. The White Hunter, designed for safari use, became one of their most iconic models. Key milestones: 1769, founded in Solingen; 1936, officially registered as Puma Werk Lauterjung and Sohn; 1950s, 60s, international expansion and focus on hunting knives. Today, Puma continues producing high-end knives in Germany, and there is also a Puma international production line made in Spain under German supervision. Collector's note: vintage Puma knives, especially those from the 1950s to 1980s with Solingen stamps and model numbers, are highly collectible. Their craftsmanship, stag handles, and historical ties make them a favorite among serious knife folks like you, Kevin. Would you like me to also make a knife school slide for this history, or help you track the age of a specific Puma knife you've got?
Anyway, I was drawn to that one because it was made by Puma.
Yeah. Wow.
And this one right here, this is a dress bayonet, but it's got
Man.
it's got engraving on the blade, and it says in German it says "in memory of my service."
Well, I'll be done.
And I wanted this one because it's got an anti-aircraft gun on it.
Well, I'll be
Some of them would have a tank or a plane or just a helmet.
Yeah.
Like for infantry. But this is the only one I've ever seen that had a
anti-aircraft.
anti-aircraft 88 millimeter anti-aircraft gun because it's pointing straight up.
Yeah.
And I got this from Barfield.
Did you really?
Barfield. And on the other side, it's made by E. Packing Son
Let's see.
in Solingen.
Hobby doll. Look at that. Wow.
I'm gonna tell
You wanna hold
them? Mr. Barfield don't play neither. He
I
comes
know.
up with
Yeah, he
some
comes with
stuff.
some really good stuff.
I like that sheath.
Yeah, it's got the frog and the sheath.
That's hard to find too.
Yeah, that was, and see, it's missing a little ball on the end too, but you know.
That's like that right there. You're
Right,
talking
you must
about.
have had the ball in there.
But that leather is hard to find, ain't it?
Yeah.
It's very rare to find a good
It
piece.
goes, it rots first,
Yeah.
you know.
Whew. That's incredible, bro.
Yeah, that was. It took me about a year to talk him out of that one. But I was drawn to it because, the anti-aircraft thing.
Barfield, once he finds something, he's reluctant to let it go, ain't he?
Yes, he's hesitant about it. Bro.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I was wishing he was here with that Vietnam era
Oh,
Randall.
yeah.
Go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to use the opportunity to give my uncle John a shout out because he flew bombers in World War II. And except he flew against the Japanese. He flew B-29s over Japan in World War II. And the guys that had this one were shooting at B-17s and B-24s, in Germany, over Germany. But anyway, he went in the Air Force before World War II. And was a pilot. And when the war started, they kept him around to train pilots because they couldn't send all their best guys over there to get shot down. So they kept him back for most of the war, and then at the end, after Germany was just about beaten, and they started the heavy bombing of Japan, he wanted to get some overseas time, so he shipped out in December of '44 and went to probably Tinian or Saipan, and that's where they flew most of those raids over.
Well, was that your mama's brother or your daddy's brother?
That's my granddaddy Pullen's brother.
Okay.
So that's my great uncle.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay.
But that's he's got the old A2 leather jacket and a silk scarf, and it got the headphones on and a little.
You ain't got that leather jacket?
No. I mean, I really only met him one time. He lived out in St. Louis for a while. He lived out west because he was a career Air Force officer, and he was flying in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, and he's buried in Arizona.
I got you.
Eric, was that the bombers that had the gunner in the rear and on top, and they a special little place?
Called a turret gun.
Well, I mean, all the bombers had a top turret, a tail gunner, a ball turret. The B-17s all had a ball turret on the bottom. A guy's down in there, But there was like 10 guys in the crew. But he was a pilot, And there's a picture of him probably when he was over on Tinian because he's wearing his Mae West and his parachute harness. And he's got like the later B-13 style jacket with the fur collar and the nylon. But and he's still got his crusher hat on and his headphones.
Because it was cold as the devil up there where they was at, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, not on Tinian, but when they got over Japan, they were flying high.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cold there. But see, the B-29s were partially pressurized, so it wasn't quite as bad.
I got you.
A B-17, they had open windows for the waist gunners, and I mean they were wearing those sheepskin lined suits, sheepskin lined boots, gloves, a hat, and it was still way below zero, And later in the war, they had electrically heated suits, I think. But anyway, I got real interested in all that stuff, so I collected up some World War II wings.
Wow.
And this is all the wings that a bomber crew would wear. Like a B-17 crew is a senior pilot and a regular pilot, because they had a pilot and co-pilot. The bombardier, his wings had a bomb on it. The navigator, they were both in the nose of the plane. And they were officers. And then you had the gunner, that's the gunner's wings with a bullet on there. And they had a tail gunner. They had 2 waist gunners. They had the ball turret gunner. And then they had a radio operator, that's the air crew wings there. So the flight engineer and the radio operator would wear those. And the flight engineer, he would man the top turret, And they had guns in the nose that the navigator and the bombardier would man. they also had flight engineer wings later in the war, but I hadn't found any of them yet. They're kind of pricey.
Very, very cool.
But that's the little wing propeller
I love that.
the officers used to wear on their collar.
Yeah, never seen that before.
And those are some really tiny wings that's called a sweetheart pin. Like their girlfriends would get one, and if they had a boyfriend or a husband in the Air Corps, that they would wear that on their dress.
That is very cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
they
be
had in there. But anyway,
That's
that wasn't for
fascinating
the man, that was for his girlfriend.
Yeah, the small one.
Yeah, the little bitty one.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, every time one of those bombers went down, that's 10 guys.
Yeah.
They lost.
Yeah.
And they lost a bunch of them. I mean, early in the war, before they had the fighter escort, they just, they when they get close to target, they'd get attacked by waves of fighters. Then the fighters would back off, and then they'd have to fly over the city where they had rings of anti-aircraft guns, and they knew they couldn't move because had to stay on target until they dropped the bombs, and they just they had to go through that. They just fire into a box basically, and our bombers would have to fly through the box. And then as soon as they got by that and turned around, the fighters had done refueled and rearmed, and they'd come up and blast them up, on the way back.
I just watched the movie Midway. You ever seen it?
Yeah,
It's a good movie.
yeah, it's a good one.
I seen part of something like that.
You ever watched that TV show, old TV show, 12 O'Clock High? It's really good. They showed on Heroes and Icons channel around here, but there's some great shows. They have a lot of footage, where they show the German planes flying by them and getting shot up and stuff. And they also came out with a mini series called Masters of the Air, about the B-17 bomber groups in the 8th Air Force, and it's really good. It's kind of like the Band of Brothers was about the 101st Airborne, and the Pacific was about the 1st Marine Division, and then they made this one about the 8th Air Force. The same people put it together, but it's inspiring. I mean, really everybody ought to see it just to see what them guys had to go through. So we could have freedom, because I mean it was unbelievable. The stuff them guys had to go through.
Incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah.
They took a lot of losses, But anyway, and even over Japan, it was later in the war, but the Japanese, they'd fly their planes into the American bombers, to try to bring them down. And of course, they had anti-aircraft too. They would even fly over them and drop like phosphorus bombs on top of our bombers, set them on fire and stuff if they could.
Wow.
And they had to fly like a 14-hour mission. From Tinian to Tokyo or wherever city they were bombing and back, and that's why they had to capture Iwo Jima. The Marines paid a heavy price for Iwo Jima.
The cost was staggering. The assault. Units of the Corps Marines and Organic Navy personnel sustained 24,053 casualties, by far the highest single action losses in Marine Corps history. Of these, a total of 6,140 died. Roughly 1 Marine or Corpsman became a casualty for every 3 who landed on Iwo Jima.
But they needed that airfield because it was kind of halfway between Tinian and the Japan, and so a lot of the bombers that were shot up, they couldn't make it back to Tinian, but a lot of they could probably make it back to Iwo Jima. And they put fighters. I had a fighter base there on Iwo Jima, so they could have a fighter escort over Japan and back.
Oh, wow.
Because before that, they couldn't.
They're strategic.
Right, the fighters couldn't fly far enough, to escort them all the way to Japan and back. But once they took Iwo Jima, then they could. So they had some protection. But anyway, it's real interesting, and you pick up something like this, and it makes you think about all that. You
don't know where that thing's been.
Right. I mean, some German guy.
Well, all 3 of them, for that matter,
had that
you
bayonet.
don't know where they've been.
And they were getting bombed every day. The British would bomb them every night. The Americans would bomb them most days. Daylight bombing.
Right.
And it was just, it was a terrible time for everybody.
Yeah, it was.
But,
Eric, that was better than Google.
I mean, you don't get no better than that.
Google could have done it.
It was. That was a good history lesson.
I get into it. That's why I appreciate veterans so much.
Because
the more I read about them and study about it, the more I realize what.
That's why we call him.
He could be a
professor.
war professor.
I mean, you made
That's
it.
what we called you. You're the military professor.
You made it where I'd be wanting to pay attention in school while you were talking.
Gracious,
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing all that, Eric.
All right, glad to do it.
Yes, sir.
And appreciate all the veterans.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, buddy. Okay, guys, I'm currently down here in Chick-fil-A in Leesburg, Georgia. I just want to thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in today. I just want to thank Mr. Eric for sharing all that great history with us. Appreciate it so much, man. I want to say God bless y'all. Till we meet again, guys. Y'all be like a good night. Stay sharp.
We have had a wonderful meeting here today with at Overthorpe Barbecue. We had just about everybody here today, including Mr. Glenn.
I got steel in my
And
veins
world famous,
and blades
Knife
on my
Doctor,
mind.
Eric, Mr. Tony,
Hard and
and
wide,
of course Mr.
looking
Wade.
forward, time
And
left
did I say
behind.
Mr. Lamar?
No.
Didn't know?
Grew up
Hey,
in the
listen,
country,
we have enjoyed it, y'all. Good to be with y'all again.
humming
And thank you for
that
watching my
lost
doctor.
their way.
And just one thing we need to say
Then
now.
I my shoe
Is be
ignite,
like a good
my
knife.
wheel shine bright.
Stay sharp.